Friedrich Nietzsche, one of the most profound philosophers of the 19th century, once said, "If you know the why, you can live any how." This statement, deceptively simple, encapsulates a fundamental truth about human existence. To endure the trials and tribunals of life, one must find a compelling reason, a why, that makes the whole suffering bearable. Now, I've been reading Jordan Peterson's book, 12 Rules for Life. The second rule is treat yourself like someone you're responsible for helping. This rule is not just about self-care. It's about profound journey of self-discovery and understanding. To navigate life effectively, we must first understand who we are, where we stand, and what we aim to achieve. Nietzsche's idea goes perfectly with this rule. The why he speaks of is our purpose, our reason for being. Without it, we are adrift, vulnerable to the chaos and the suffering we inherit in life. But when there is a purpose, a clear, defined purpose, we can withstand almost anything. Well, it sounds pretty simple. If you have a goal, if you have the reason, a purpose, then you can probably withstand anything and through suffering and anything and just achieve your goal. Amazing. Yeah. But how do we find our why? It begins with self-reflection, understanding our strengths and weaknesses, evaluating where we are, which is not an easy task. It actually requires brutal honesty and courage, but it's necessary. Only by knowing ourselves we can identify our true goals and aspirations. And again, easy for me to talk. But we have to look at our life. Everything we have been through. There is a certain story we have been telling ourselves. Oh, I'm a failure. I'm not good enough. I don't deserve this. I have to be frugal. And we look at all of the relationships we've had with our parents and siblings, friends and teachers and co-workers. There's so many people out there that we have encountered and talked with and had some sort of connection with, some sort of relationship. And yet, all those people around us helped us to develop a story about ourselves. Some of those stories are good, but some, not so much. If you've encountered a bully, a narcissist, a person in a relationship that actually hurt you, betrayed you, abandoned you, maybe your parents weren't paying enough attention to you. Maybe they were saying, "Oh, you're such an amazing child. You're the one I never had to worry about." In their perspective, they're telling you, "You're so good. You're taking care of yourself. You're like accountable for everything. Amazing." And in your eyes, you might be, "I had to take care of everyone around me. I had to give away my childhood, play adult, take care of everyone else, please others, yada, yada, yada." And you look at yourself of how you became hyper-vigilant and how no one ever actually worried about you. How no one cared about you because you've been so grown up and so mature beyond your years. Amazing. And so our surroundings shape us. Everything that you have ever endured since your birth, and even before coming here, it shaped you and molded you into something. Now, the personality for a lot of people, if you live in the surroundings and environment that's actually supportive, that's great. But for most people, that's not going to be the case. And most people end up being hurt, closing up, isolating themselves, giving up on relationships, thinking that they'll never be good enough or worth of a good job or a good relationship, or even like self-love. Zero self-love over there. So we have to look at who we are. What kind of stories have we told ourselves? How do we see ourselves? And be completely and brutally honest. Spill the beans. It's like the biggest secret that you might be trying to hide from everyone else is actually very visible. And it's the same as if you would look at the movie 8 Mile with the Eminem. The moment he overcame every other rapper and became the best is when he started dissing himself. Everything that was negative and wrong about him.
I know everything he's about to say against me. I am white, I am a fucking punk. I do live in a trailer with my mom. My boy Future is an Uncle Tom. I do got a dumb friend named Cheddar Bob who shoots himself in his leg with his own gun. I did get jumped by all 6 of you chumps. And we did fuck my girl. I'm still standing here screaming fuck the free world. Don't never try to judge me, dude. You don't know what the fuck I've been through, but I know something about you. You went to Cranbrook, that's a private school. What's the matter, dog? You embarrassed?
He, in his rap freestyle, exposed everything about himself, about his mother, about his state. And the rapper, when he had the chance to now, okay, now it's gonna be my time to diss you, but there's nothing left. Completely broken. And in life, we have to be like this brutally honest with ourselves. Everyone else might see our issues. We don't even know that. Like for me, I might have some of these conflicts, and that for a lot of people, it's gonna be a hard way to start because they might want to start a YouTube channel, they might want to be creative, they might be wanting to do something that they're passionate about, they might want to be authentic, but there is someone else's opinion that they're afraid of. And that one opinion of a person who might be Jimmy 78 or a Raptor 25, just like random nicknames online, or maybe people in your surroundings. Well, what will the neighbor think? What will your mom say? And you will live your life trying to please everyone else, living by someone else's rules and standards, and actually, at the end of your life, regretting all of the choices? That's not the way to be. And for most people to take that one step of courage and leaving that comfort zone and getting into that place of massive chaos because now you're stepping into the unknown and you're going to be all alone for a while. You might feel like you're completely naked and vulnerable and people will target you, and then you're going to have to endure suffering and all the emotional toxicity from everyone else. It's like, oh, that's going to be a challenge, and most people don't want to go through that. And it doesn't mean that it will happen to everyone. But like, for example, for me, starting the YouTube channel, I had a lot of people saying that they are interested in what they want to hear, and I want to do it. But, oh my God, what will my classmates think of me? What will my parents think of me? What will someone else I know and look up to will think of me? I had so many fears, and then look at me, crooked teeth. I used to have a lot of complexes. So to start, my first YouTube video was spilling the beans. And I said like, hey, I have crooked teeth. My English is not perfect. I have pimples and stuff, and I'm not looking like an amazing super duper girl. I'm a bit of a tomboy because I used to hide my femininity. One thing after another, exposing it. Okay, now you know most of my negative stuff. Now that you know that I can be myself, be authentic, and if you accept me that way, great. But no longer wearing the mask. And it's like little by little, you don't have to do it with everyone else. You don't have to make a YouTube video. You don't have to expose yourself to the world. It might not be your thing. But to journal that for yourself. Journal yourself, your life, to understand who you are, where you are, what your values are, to understand the pillar of what's holding you. This is how you understand your why. When you know what's going on, when you know a lot of things about yourself, every little bit counts, then you can find your why. It doesn't have to be grand as I'm going to save the world. I'm going to help people to wake up. I'm going to change humanity. Like, okay, massive goals. Amazing. Great for you to have such enthusiasm. But it doesn't have to be so massive for everyone. It can be like, okay, I see who I am. I don't want to live that life anymore. And you use that pain and suffering and negativity to push you into changing. For most people, they will not change until they feel enough pain and it will force them to do something different. We don't have to wait for that. Of course, you've been suffering and enduring a lot of pain for a long time, since you were alive. Which is why breaking out of that shell and character that was, holding you back, it's important to get out of it. So as you journal, it's like, can I change? What kind of job would I like to have that would make me happy, where I could be growing and learning, enjoying myself, and also maybe contributing and helping others? What can I do every day on my free time to get better, to stay healthy, to be happy, to do things I like? It doesn't have to be about, massive goal. You don't have to save humanity. You don't have to create a new tech. You just need to be a better person for yourself. Not me, Not Tom, not your mom, not your dad, not anyone else, for yourself. You need to find a way to enjoy this life, to get something out of it. Because you've been suffering and going through so much for so long that, hey, you've been in hell already. How about since you're there or we're in there, you do something to change. Little by little, baby steps. But by knowing ourselves, we can identify our true goals and aspirations, changing, becoming better, and looking into what we want to have. So, consider what genuinely interests you. What makes you come alive? What activities or pursuits give you a sense of fulfillment and meaning? These are the clues to your why. They point you towards your purpose. Once you have the sense of the purpose, the next step is to articulate it clearly. Write it down, be specific. A vague goal is no goal at all. For instance, instead of saying, I want to be successful, specify what success means to you. Is it building a business, creating art, helping others? The more specific you are, the easier it will be to create a path towards your goal. And of course, finding your purpose is not a one-time task. It's a continuous process. As you grow and evolve, your purpose may change, and that's okay. Your values and understanding, everyday little things will change. What you want today, you might not want tomorrow. What you want in a week will be different. And so every day, as we evolve and change, as our beliefs and understanding and values based on our experience of our daily life, as it all changes, what's important is to always have a why, something that drives you forward. Not to save humanity, not to do something grand. It's great if you have that goal. But I think the most important part is focusing on yourself. You know, there's this common saying, if you want to change the world, change yourself first. But your focus has to be you most of the time. When you are doing good, you will be able to help others. When you learn, you can give. When anything you do for yourself, in any kind of way, you grow, you get better, you feel happier, you feel healthier, you will be able to provide more for others. If you're in a really crappy state, if you're depressed and anxious and don't want to be around anyone, if you're sick, if you hate your job, then giving something to someone in that state becomes pretty much impossible. And the quality of it is not so much. And you're more into telling them to piss off rather than, hey, well, don't want to talk, but here's what you can do. Simple things like that. Of course, we should not forget the suffering. We have to realize that we live in a world where animals eat each other in order to survive, where there is duality, the good, the bad, right and wrong, light and dark. However we look at it, we have to know that we live in a world where suffering is inevitable. Your life ends with death. So, of course, it tells you like, hey, there's gonna be some challenges, there's gonna be pain, and in the end, there's, death. So it all ends. Okay, great. Physical aspect. Soul is forever. Consciousness is forever. It's limitless. It's just this body, this vessel we're talking about. But it creates difficulties. We encounter challenges and setbacks and pain. But when there's a clear purpose, these hardships become more bearable. Nietzsche's insight in that how the method by which we endure is secondary to the why. If your reason for being is strong enough, you can find a why to endure anyhow. For example, I can only talk about myself. For 10 years, I've been in a relationship where it was good, decent, but I wasn't growing enough. There were a lot of bickering and fights and misunderstandings and miscommunications and not seeing eye to eye and having to not even compromise, but giving up who you are and trying to people please and becoming less and less and less of who you are authentically into pretending. And no matter how much you would communicate about it and do anything about it, it just wouldn't work. So keeping that in mind for me, and it changes, like I wasn't even looking at getting out of the relationship. I was looking at how can I get better? How can I live authentically? And no matter what, I wasn't able to do it because my why wasn't strong enough. So things happened, it changed. The relationship ended. There was a lot of suffering, and I already had a big fear of abandonment and then losing the relationship, which was already on and off, on and off, on and off. And there's like, okay, and a lot of details, a lot of pain, where you lose the trust in another person, where you lose the trust in people in general, and think that, okay, I won't be able to recover myself. And it just happened that I met another person, and later on, as the relationship built, I found myself completely changing and wanting to be a different person, wanting to start a relationship with a completely new story. Not the old me that had a really hard time talking. Not the old me that when the issues arise, I would close up and have a hard time communicating. Not the old me that would, in a situation of fight or flight, I would freeze and won't be able to do anything. There were so many things I did not like about my character that when I started a new relationship, I hated who I was so much that I wanted to change. I hated the relationship for 10 years because there was so much lying and wearing a mask and pretending. And actually, whenever I was trying to be myself, I was pushed back. And I was just like, okay, it's easier to just put on a mask and pretend to be someone else and just please that person. Now, as I'm in a new relationship, I just want to be me, be authentic, and be either accepted for who I am or at least be me. Without any more pretending, without no more masks. And that, for me, is a good enough goal to change. Something happens and I knew the old me is freezing and it's hard to talk and open up, and I would force myself to communicate. I would force myself like through tears, and it's so much like feelings and things that, kind of built up over the years and the beliefs. And now, boom, the character breaks. And that why, and in life, like we're looking at goals or purpose as the end result. And once we achieve that, then this is gonna happen. We're gonna be happy, live happily forever after, have enough money, have the house, and this is boom, like the end. No, it doesn't happen like that. Life will give you tons of whys. Little by little, piece here and there, but it creates a lot of little purposes and things for you to do. Now you have a bunch of anchor points where you can grow and you can learn and you can contribute here and you can do this stuff there and you can leave some legacy, and it's just like tons of little wires and things that you can connect to and pull yourself towards for. And with that why, have many of them. Maybe create a better relationship with a certain person. Another why is you have to become a better person. Another why is like, would you like to live a healthier lifestyle? Maybe change your sleep cycle, maybe sleep better. A lot of little things. But this is how we create tons of little things. The whole process, not the end goal, not the purpose of, okay, massive big goal, and I'm gonna achieve this, and then I'm gonna be happy. This is over. For a lot of people, and especially if you would look at people who retire, most people who retire end up getting sick really fast and dying. Because once they're done with work, most of them are thinking, okay, I'm done with work, no more of that, and I'm just gonna chill. And then 3 weeks pass, and that chilling turns into boredom and not being able to find something to do, and everything is just so boring, and they lose purpose or meaning of life that they give up. They don't want to live here anymore. It just gets so boring and stale and old and like, ugh. But it's like other people who are like, okay, retired, but there's still tons of little things they want to do. Whether it is traveling, whether it is learning, whether it is building something, they still have a little purpose here and there that allows them to create, grow, and live and be authentic and do something. Which is why for us, to have a goal is not about achieving it. It's about how you change and what you experience in the whole process. So, in order to find that why, that goal, something to do, the purpose that would allow you to endure anything, I would say, hey, it's worth it. Hey, you can change. things can be better. We have to reflect on our life, understand ourselves and our identity and our purpose. Write it down, make it specific, and let it guide you through the inevitable suffering of life. With a strong enough why, you can endure any how.